Over the next few videos, I want to wrestle with one of the hardest concepts that we all deal with as it relates to God and His interaction with the world. If at any point you find these videos interesting or intriguing, please press like or subscribe to this channel. It really does help. Okay, so here's the concept I want to wrestle with. If God is good and if He is all-powerful, then why do such bad things happen to good people? Or to ask it more bluntly, life sucks. Where's God? You know, the people that I know that struggle with their faith, it seems like they all wrestle with a different version of the same question. And most of those questions begin with the word why. Why did that happen? Why did God allow this? Why did children suffer? Why does injustice persist? Why was the most important person in my life taken from me? You know, we all deal with really, really difficult questions, and the why questions are the hardest. And it can seem really frustrating when God doesn't seem to be in any hurry to answer those questions. But that doesn't mean He isn't answering other questions that could actually be more important for us to be asking. And so for the next 3 videos, I want to wrestle with 3 important questions as we try to reconcile a good God in a suffering world. And the first question is this: what can we learn about God from what He has already done or from how He has already responded? You know, when we look at the Bible, we see that God is not only powerful enough to create all things and do all kinds of crazy miracles, He's also a God who has a heart for the poor and for the orphan and for the widow. In fact, some of the harshest statements in the Bible are from God to His own people because they weren't caring for the most vulnerable in their society. In the New Testament, we see Jesus' heart for the sick as well as His power to heal. When Lazarus died, Jesus wept right along with Lazarus' family because his heart was broken too. And in fact, it was Jesus' love and compassion that sent Him to the cross so that we could experience grace. Now, what does that all mean? It means that when we see suffering in the world and when we experience inexplicable hardship and we cry out to God why, we might not get an answer to the why question, but we can know for certain what the answer isn't. The answer isn't because God is impotent or because He is weak or because He doesn't love you or because He doesn't care for you, because God has already proven who He is and He asks for us to trust Him. If you had a 3-year-old who had to undergo a difficult medical procedure, would you try to explain everything to that 3-year-old, or would you try to give an answer that a 3-year-old could understand and then try to convince him or her that their mommy or their daddy loves them and that the doctor is good? Does the 3-year-old need understanding and knowledge, or does the 3-year-old need trust in the adults in their life who love them and have a little bit more knowledge and understanding that they do? You see, I don't know that we would even be able to understand the answer to our why questions. So God asks us to trust Him based upon what He has revealed about Himself already. You see, as we try to reconcile the suffering in the world and the hardships we face, I think the first question is, well, what can we learn about God from what He has already done? That's question number 1. In the next video, I want to look towards the future and ask the second important question.